If you're like me, you're always chasing good deals, and this time I came across this cool baby bootleg console for just $9. Actually, my dad picked it up from our local flea market, which only happens once a week. He snapped a few pictures and sent them over. I'm curious actually what features it has and what it can do. So here it is. It even came with an old mini USB cable, which already gives away its age, before micro USB vibes. On the back there's an 8G label, probably means 8GB of internal memory, but did you see that? Portable multimedia plater. What's a plater? Looks like they meant player, yeah, they actually misspelled it. That's wild. Anyway, it has a lock switch just like the one on the PSP, along with volume buttons on the right side. Left and right shoulders buttons too, but they are super hard to press and not comfortable at all. The D-pad and face buttons are decent, but the analog sticks, they feel stiff, maybe dirt on the inside. I actually have to put in effort just to move them. At the bottom there's a mini USB port, most likely for charging and PC connection. The screen has a few scratches, but hey, for $9 I just hope it works. Two AV out ports. A lot of these bootleg consoles have headphone style video outputs, but sadly I don't have the right cable to test that in this video. There's also a tiny reset button and, nice surprise, a micro SD card slot. That means we can load up some of our favorite titles. Let's power this thing, or should I say this portable multimedia plater. We've got a boot screen with flashbacks from games that, yeah, definitely won't be on this console. And this seems to be the main menu. And as I take a closer look at the bottom right corner of the screen, I noticed something peeling off. Turns out, it's a screen protector that was never removed. Wow, and look how clean and sharp the screen looks underneath. Not bad at all that it was left on. Out of all the titles shown here on the main menu, only Mega Man 2 sounds familiar, so let's give that a try. It's kinda weird that the game doesn't start right away. I actually have to press restart to begin. Why restart and not just start? I'm guessing the operating system was poorly translated from Chinese to English. Makes sense. Okay, I'm choosing a map. The game runs really smooth. And I'm actually enjoying it. I'm gonna play just like a real OG, only with D-pads, and look at that! I won! Wasn't that hard either. I do wonder what platform this game originally came from. Maybe arcade? If you pause the game, there's a menu with several options. You can mute or unmute the sound, remap the controls, and even adjust the screen size. For example, now let's set it up the original resolution. Oh, it's too small. Okay, let's go back and I'll set it up to full screen. And most importantly, you get up to 5 save slots, which lets you save exactly where you left off. Nice. So that's pretty much what this console is all about. You've got a bunch of preloaded retro games and you can enjoy them straight out of the box. But now the big question is, what kind of ROMs does this thing support? Which consoles are compatible with this bootleg handheld? Well, the answer is simple. Since it's an old emulation-based device, it only supports these platforms. NES, SNES, Game Boy and Game Boy Color, and of course Game Boy Advanced, Sega Genesis, Sega Master System and Master System 2, Neo Geo and various arcade games. Unfortunately, it doesn't support PlayStation 1. There are newer versions of this console that can handle more powerful systems and 3D games, but not this one. Oh, by the way, I also reviewed another console that emulates PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, Sega Dreamcast and many other classic systems. I will put a link down below into the description, or you can check it out on my channel. It looked like a mini PS5, such an awesome console, you should definitely check it out. Let's go back to the games. Now I'll try Metal Slug, another name that rings a bell. Alright, let's insert a virtual coin and we can start it right away. And again, it runs great. No drop frames, no visual glitches, it actually looks pretty decent. So this is the second game I tried and I can already tell you guys, this console can handle 2D games easily, with sprites and everything. Thumbs up for that. But we've got another problem. You see, if we go into the game gallery and look through the folders, we'll notice that almost all of the titles are in Chinese. So these are Chinese ports, and you won't really know what game you are picking. For example, look, I'll pick a random game, let's say this one, and we only find out it's a Dragon Ball game once the menu loads. Unless you know Chinese, you are kind of stuck with this issue. And probably there are gonna be some titles with Chinese subtitles, full in Chinese, so yeah, that's not okay. Other than that, I think I'll just pop in my own SD card and run some of my favorite childhood titles. Alright, we are inserting the SD card. I already have a few titles prepared on it. Good. It's working. In the settings, we can see it detects 119 gigabytes, so it's reading it just fine. From where I can tell, it's not detecting any game from the Sega Mega Drive. Maybe it's not compatible, I don't know. I'm gonna try to open a Pokemon game from the Game Boy, and yeah, it's working. I'm not actually going to play the game, I just wanted to see if it runs. The intro takes a while to get through anyway, so yeah. I'm actually curious to see how it looks if I put the original. Oh my god, no, it's so tiny. Okay, yeah, that's enough. Alright, we have Game Boy Advance games and let's play a little bit of Metroid. Freaking awesome. The resolution is sharp, it looks really cool. But the LCD screen overall has a really poor viewing angle. If you tilt it even a little, the color flips instantly. So the answer is yes, you can play the Game Boy Advance library without any kind of problem, but you have to make sure you install the correct files, because look, I have this Super Mario game and it doesn't work. There are some corrupted files. It's not a problem with the console, I'm pretty sure, there's something with the files I just installed. We are also testing The Legend of Zelda, since I know there's a pretty big fan base for this game. Just like the others, it runs perfectly, no issues at all. So if you find a console similar to the one I'm holding right now and it's around $9 or less, I'd say it's already worth picking up. Let's try something from the SNES library, and of course we'll start with the Super Mario World, right? I should mention, I've never been particularly good at Mario games, so don't be surprised if I end up hitting a lot of enemies. If Game Boy Advanced games run smooth, for sure SNES doesn't have any kind of problem, and what the heck? Oh my god, I didn't expect that, so yeah, I have to quit this game. And here we are, Super Metroid on the SNES, the same version I used to play when I was a kid. But honestly, I don't remember the sound quality being this low. Maybe it's just the way it's emulated, I don't know. Back then I had the original cartridge and playing this game was such a great experience, even though at times it was brutally difficult. Old games really pushed your skills. They either helped you improve or completely tested your nerves, simple as that. Right now we are in the elevator, heading to get our first superpower, the one that lets us transform into a ball. But here's where something strange happens, and you will notice it right away. There are certain elements that, when triggered, cause the game to lag. Actually, this game tends to lag in general. It's really odd and not smooth at all. Right after picking up the superpower, there's a sort of surveillance camera that emits a yellow wave and it literally cuts the frame rate in half. I don't even want to imagine what it'll be like later in the game trying to play at 15 frames per second. No, this could be a huge disadvantage, especially at Super Metroid. If I were to compare it to this PSP, there are definitely some similarities but a lot of differences. Let's start with the analog sticks. The Cool Baby has two, one on the left and one on the right, but the PSP only has one, and honestly is way better. The quality of the PSP is miles ahead. It's much faster and smoother, no comparison. This PSP is definitely bulkier than the Cool Baby console. In fact, the European PSP E1000 model was even thicker than the previous versions of the PSP. But let's not forget it also has a UMD drive inside. Let me know in the comments if you remember this game and whether you like it. Now, when it comes to the screen, the PSP absolutely wins. It's much brighter and more colorful. The lock switch on this PSP is located on the bottom side. And yeah, it works. As you can see, it properly locks the buttons. On the Cool Baby, the switch might just be for show. No matter how I flip it, the buttons still work, which is weird. To be honest, you can't really compare the two. The PSP was built seriously, and the Cool Baby is clearly a budget device, extremely cheap. But to be fair, it's still better than some other knockoffs. Remember this other console? I reviewed that one too. Check out the video to see why I think the Cool Baby is actually superior to it. Now we are gonna check some settings. We've got brightness options, power saving, date and time, language, and AV output toggle. There's also a panel with some info about the console, like the firmware version. So maybe it's possible to update it with something better? Who knows? We can also see how much storage is used. It shows around 5 GB of internal memory, so the 8 GB written on the back isn't really true. Keytones. You can pick up from 4 different ones. And one of them sounds just like an old Nokia phone. They're all kind of annoying though. There are also screen transitions with some animations. But to be honest, I don't like them, so I left them off. There are a few more settings you can mess with, but for now this is enough. Let's open the camera app and test the rear camera. So, the field of view is terrible, it feels more like a telescope with VGA level clarity. In the photo app, there's also a few preloaded pictures, definitely not taken with this camera. And the photo we just took, it's in a randomly generated folder. Good luck finding the one you are looking for if you have a lot of folders. You can kind of tell what's in the photo, but there's no much detail or vibrant color. Basically, it's a VGA camera. There's a separate app for watching videos, and yep, we've got a few pre-installed clips too.
Unleashing a pandemic on us is just one more part of a twisted plan.
I actually remember these cartoons pretty well. Wasn't that dog called Bernard? But wait, there's another app just for video recording. Let's try recording a video.
This is a video test. Looks kinda cool, right? Maybe we can review other things. Don't forget guys to subscribe for more videos.
Should be somewhere around here. Oh, yeah, again, saved in another auto-generated folder. Okay, there's a weird buzzing noise in the background, which is kind of concerning. Maybe the mic is broken, but we'll test that when we check out the voice recorder app, because yeah, looks like there's one for that too. There is already some music pre-installed, so let's see what these speakers can actually do. Even though there are speaker grills on the both sides, the sound is mono. It only comes from one side. Honestly, it's not surprising. The other side is probably just there for looks. This sound is decent. Honestly, it's not that bad. There's a dedicated button to change the background image. And I'll stick with this one. It looks cool. You can actually read books on this thing and even learn how to get yourself a wife. Yeah. Or you can read some random fiction, which is super useful if you enjoy reading on a tiny, eye-straining LCD screen. There's also a dictionary. Now we can finally learn the real meaning of the word subscriber. And speaking of that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future uploads. The voice recording function is here, just like we guessed, so we can use it to check if the microphone is actually broken.
Don't forget guys to subscribe to the channel to see more videos.
And here we also have something pretty weird. There is a browser app, but it's not actually for the internet. It's more like internal files, just a place with general folders. Why didn't they just call it files? Simple. And to be honest, the sound is a bit better this time. No popping or weird static noises. So it might not be the mic after all. Maybe the video recording app is the one with the issues, which is pretty strange. And the last few utility apps includes a very basic looking calendar. Honestly, it looks almost identical to the calculator app. They are pretty much just reused the same layout. But hey, if you need to do some quick math, the calculator's right there to help. And of course, we've got also a built-in stopwatch, because why not? So in conclusion, this is the cool baby console. It pretty much has everything: movie playback, music, a camera and retro gaming, but nothing is high quality. Still, I'd say it has worth it. Should I try cleaning it up and resell it? Maybe document the process? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in the next episode.